So, Schofield, in number 14 I ask you if, what's it, A inverse B inverse equals AB inverse.
Yeah.
That's what I ask you, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is this...
Of course first.
Of course first. So, the question is this true or false? And the answer is...
False.
It's false. And the way you do it is just by checking with some numbers. So like for example, maybe A is, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
And B is like 1, 1, 2, 1.
Yeah.
And then you calculate the inverse here and here. And then you'll notice that it's not the same as this. So if you calculate this, let's see, you'll get 1 over 4 minus 6 minus 2. 1. And then this one will be 1 over minus 1.
But, Stephen,
yes.
I know this, but I mean if A and B both I.
Then it is true.
So
I'm saying this is always true.
Right.
So you can prove that it's false by just giving me one example.
Okay. But can we need improve some it is true? So give this example.
No, it won't. If it's true, then you need to use A, B, C, D, W, X, Y, Z.
Yeah, but just A and B equal I.
I'm not sure what you're saying.
A equal B I.
Yeah, A equals I, B equals I, then it's true.
Yes.
But I'm saying this is always true, and the answer is no, it's not always true. And you need to give one example, and here's one example of when it's not true. So that's on the left, and then on the right, you multiply these and calculate the inverse, and you'll find that they don't match up, that you get two different answers. So I won't... This type of question is too difficult for the exam. So this isn't really something to worry about for the exam. It's good practice though to know when these things are true or false. This one is false.
Yeah.
So in other words, this here, you cannot put them together like this. Not allowed. So on the right, you would have this multiply this, so what's that going to be? 1 and 4, 5. And then this one, and this one is 3. What's next here? 8, 11. And then the last one, 7. If you calculate the inverse, you get 1 over 35 minus 33, 2. 7 minus 3 minus 11, 5. If you multiply this, you'll see it's not equal to this one.
Yes.
Just any example, I just made these numbers up. In fact, if you pick any numbers, you'll see that this is false. Only special cases is it true.
Special.
Yeah. So don't worry too much about this.
In the exam, we need to write 3 sentences. Is only A and B not equal I, so it is false.
No, this wouldn't be in the exam.
Yeah. I mean
If, impossible. But if, you could say that.
Okay. If I not say that, I can all mark. I can get all mark.
If you didn't say it, and what would you say? If you just said true or false? Yeah, usually for questions, if they ask you if something is true or false, it's usually 2 marks. 1 mark for saying if it's true or false, and then 1 mark for giving a reason. So you must give some reason.
Okay.
Any reason, give some reason. So you do sometimes get questions in the class, in the exam, where they ask you, is this right or wrong? Or is this true or false? But these questions are usually only 2 marks. And you get 1 mark for saying if it's right or wrong, or true or false, and then 1 mark for giving a reason. So So because it's only one mark, the reason is usually a small reason.
Okay.
So it's not going to be like this, okay? Alright, we're going to look at now, we're going to go back to these types of problems. Do you remember what these are called from last week?
Equation.
Really? Go, try Zoe. What are they called? Oh yeah, intercept is where they meet. Very good. But do you remember the name when you have two of them together? Close. It's called degree 2 system. Or another name for it is simultaneous equations. It might be in your book. If you go back to page...
Yeah.
Oh, it says it at the top, yeah. Simultaneous equations is on the top of the page. Can you see it? That's the name you give when you have two equations together, like these two, for example. Now, last week we did 3 ways to solve it, to find the, what was this point called? Intercept. What are the 3 ways we did? What are they called? Elimination. What's elimination, Jeffrey? What do you try to do? You try to cancel.
Cancel x.
You cancel x or you cancel y. What's the other method?
The other.
Yes? Substitution. What do you try to do there, Zoe? What do you try to do in substitution? Yeah. Go on, continue, explain. What do you try to get? No, go on, don't be shy. Okay, I'll give you a little help. No, actually, Young will give you some help. Do you remember, Young, what you do in substitution? Shh, you be quiet, Jeffrey. Young, do you remember what to do? Substitution? No? First you try to find y, and then you try to find y in the other one, and then you make them equal, and then you find x. So remember elimination? Who taught me elimination? Yeah, what do? You try to cancel x, oops, you try to cancel x or you try to cancel y. In substitution, you try to find y equals blah 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 and y equals something else. If this equals y and this equals y, then you can say this equals the other thing. So let's say y equals a and y equals b. If they're both equal to y, then you can say a equals b. That was the idea with substitution. And what was the other method? Yes, a graph. So you draw the 2 lines, and then you try to look on your graph where they meet. Which method did we say was most common to use? The first one. So you have a fourth method today, and it's called the matrix method. And this is the one they normally want you to use in the exam. The matrix method. Okay? So how does it work? What you do is you can rewrite this as A, B, C, D multiplied by XY equals PQ. Now that's actually exactly the same thing. What's A multiply X? AX. B multiply Y? BY. C multiply X? CX, and D multiply Y, dy. So in fact, these 2 lines are the same as this line. Okay? What am I looking for? What do I want to find? I want to find X and Y. So I'm looking for this piece. So what do I not want? I don't want this here. I want to get rid of this. How how can I cancel this? What could I use to cancel it? What's it called? Inverse. If I put an inverse here, A, B, C, D, inverse, and then A, B, C, D, multiply XY, equals A, B, C, D, inverse, PQ. Now if you look closely here, what I did was, whoops, no, don't use black. I put an inverse, I put at the start of both sides. It's like I multiplied both sides by the inverse. You know, if you have A equals B, you could multiply both sides by any number. So you could say 2A equals 2B. That's what I did there in blue. I put the inverse on both sides. Now who remembers from the last lesson, when you multiply an inverse by the original, what happens? What do you get? You get I. So you have I xy equals the inverse times PQ. But what's I times xy? Remember what's I like? I is like 1. So if you multiply this by 1, so to speak, you get xy. So this is the rule for today. The answer xy will equal the inverse multiplied by PQ. This is the rule for today. So if you write this rule down, I'll show you some examples of how to use it. So this is actually, it's a pretty useful rule, and my advice is you should always use this method to solve simultaneous equations, because in the exam they will say use the matrix method to solve. So it's much safer if you just always use this method. Okay? Let's have a look at an example. Example, 2x plus 3y equals 4, and then let's say 1x plus 2y equals 1. So you can get the answer very quick, well, pretty quick. xy, what does that equal? 2, 3, 1, 2, inverse, multiply, 4, 1. From the lesson earlier today, 2 times 2, 4, minus 3. And then I swap, and then I minus the other 2, and multiply it by 4, 1. Now, 4 minus 3, 1. So I got 1 over 1. Okay. Let's multiply. 2 multiply 4? 6. Try again. Multiply. Not add, yes. Yeah, that's okay. 2 multiply 4 is 8. And then minus 3 multiply 1? Minus 3. 8 minus 3? 5. So, you got 5 here. Minus 1 multiply 4? Minus 4. 2 multiply 1? 2. Minus 4 plus 2? Minus 2. Yes? Minus 2, yeah? Minus 4 plus 2. Now we're finished. What's 1 over 1? 1. 1 multiply 5? 5. 1 multiplied minus 2? Minus 2. So x is 5 and y is minus 2. I think this is a pretty good method. It'll always work. So we'll do another example to practice. So make sure you write this one down now. So this is using the matrix method. So let me just write that up the top. Matrix method. Okay. Matrix method. Okay. Right. Write this down, please, and then we'll do another example, and then I'll give you one to try to make sure you've got it. It's really important because I think they ask this question on every exam every year, okay? And I actually think it's a question that you should get full marks in because it's kind of an automatic question, you know what I mean? You just kind of do the rules. So this is a good question to make sure you can do very well. Are you ready for another example? Yeah? Okay. So let's have a look at another example. Okay, let's say 4x minus y and that equals 1, and then let's say 3x, let's make it a little bit trickier, plus y equals 2. Okay, so x, y, so what will that equal? 4 minus 1, 3, 1, inverse, 1, 2. Okay. Inverse 1 over 4 minus 3. 4 times 1, 4, minus 1 times 3, minus 3. So 4 minus 3. Okay. Then we swap and then change the sign. Okay. 4 minus 3, 7. 1 over 7. Okay, let's multiply now. 1 times 1, 1. 1 times 2, 2. Add them together, 3. Yes? 1 times 1 is 1, and 1 times 2, 2, and add them together and you get the 3. Minus 3 times 1, minus 3. 4 times 2, 8. Add minus 3 and 8, 5. Did you say 2, Jeffrey?
Yeah.
Now, all I have to do is put the 1 over 7 inside. So I get my answer is 3 sevenths and 5 sevenths. It's got a bit squished here. Sorry. So x is 3 over 7 and y is 5 over 7. 3 over 7 and 5 over 7.
Yeah.
So you're all going to be very similar, actually almost identical. Okay, I want to give you one to try, see how everybody gets on, then I'll put the answer up. Okay. Right, so I want everybody to try this one as an example. 5x plus y equals 1, and then 9x plus 2y equals minus 2. Okay. I want everybody to try and find x and y for me using the matrix method that I showed you. So I'd like everybody to try this now, please. I'll do the answer with you, but you can continue working if you're not finished.
4 minus 9.
So you get xy will equal 5192 inverse times 1 minus 2, which will equal 1 over 10 minus 9, and then you have 2 here, minus 1 minus 9, 5, times 1 minus 2.
Yes.
Now,
The 4 minus
10 minus 9 is 1, and 1 over 1 is 1, so 1. Now, 2 times 1 is 2, minus 1 times minus 2 is 2, and add them together, 4.
4.
And then minus 9 minus 10,
Yeah, minus 19.
minus 19. 4 times 1, 4, and minus 19 times 1, minus 19. So x is 4 and y is
9.
minus 19. So with practice, you can do this very quickly. Should take maybe 1 or 2 minutes with lots of practice. Are you all clear on how to use the matrix method to solve these?
Yeah.
I think practice will help. So if you get stuck, I can help you. You really want to make sure you can be comfortable doing these quickly. Okay? So there's a few examples there. So if you look in your workbook, basically I gave you 5 examples really to practice using this technique, 1 to 5. So I'd like everybody to at least try 1 to 5 now, and I can give you a hand if you get stuck.